Big-name politicians take the stage in Indiana at the NRA's annual convention. And it comes just days after yet another mass shooting, this time at a bank in downtown Louisville, where a 25-year-old suspect with ties to Indiana shot 5 people to death Monday on the heels of a school shooting in Nashville and some alarming bomb threats that closed schools across the state of Indiana on Friday. A lot of news to get to this week, and we start at the NRA convention in Indianapolis with several big-name Republicans taking the stage, including Governor Holcomb, former President Trump, and former Vice President Mike Pence, who I spoke with one-on-one. We'll have that exclusive interview coming up. But first, our Kristen Eskow with a look at some of the big moments from the convention floor on Friday.
Roughly 70,000 members of the National Rifle Association have gathered in Indianapolis. It's the third time in a decade the event has come to the Circle City.
You won't find a place in America more supportive of our Second Amendment than here in Indiana.
The national debate over gun rights looms large over this crowd. The event has kicked off days after the bank shooting in Louisville, weeks after a school shooting in Nashville, and on the eve of the second anniversary of the FedEx shooting that happened miles away.
I'm worried about it because there's an element to the society that don't think that we should have guns.
I don't think it's a gun issue as much as it is a people issue.
That's the message echoed by several 2024 presidential hopefuls.
We saved our Second Amendment, and we're going to save it for a long time to come. It's under siege, but we're going to save it for a long time to come.
Former Vice President and former Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who's considering a run for president, believes mental health care and school safety should be the focus in Washington.
I think the time has come for leaders in our nation's capital to give every community in the country the funds to place armed resource officers in every public and private school in America.
Meanwhile, Democrats are criticizing the Republicans speaking at the event. They argue the NRA is part of the problem when it comes to mass shootings.
The Republican Party continues to put the gun industry and the gun makers before the safety of our kids and our families.
Events are happening throughout the weekend here at the convention center. The convention runs through Sunday. In downtown Indianapolis, I'm Kristen Eskow.
All right, Kristen, thanks. Now to my one-on-one interview with former Vice President Mike Pence, who I spoke with Thursday ahead of the NRA convention. I asked him about some of these recent mass shootings and the new calls for gun control. Does the NRA's message or platform need to change it all in the wake of these recent mass shootings that we've seen time and time again?
You know, I'm someone who grieves with everyone, witnessing the tragedy that took place in Louisville and days ago in Nashville, Tennessee. But we've got to stand on those God-given liberties enshrined in our Constitution, and the right of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms is enshrined in the Second Amendment of the Constitution, and I think now more than ever we ought to stand by that. But at the same time, I think we ought to be calling for action. We ought to be calling on those that are, waging this war on law enforcement across the country to say, stop talking about defunding the police. We need to give law enforcement more resources. I think the time has come for the federal government to provide the resources for us to put security officers, what we call resource officers, in every public and private school in America. Combine that, I think, with tougher, stronger, swifter penalties for those that would engage in these mass shootings. And then at the end of the day, I think as a nation we've got to make a recommitment to institutional mental health. I'll be talking about those things at the NRA convention tomorrow, but I think it all begins with first principles. And the right of law-abiding citizens to keep and bear arms is enshrined in the Constitution. But beyond that, I do believe that the American people want to see us take action to support law enforcement, protect our kids in our schools, and ultimately deal with a mental health crisis across the country that too often is associated with these mass shootings.
You're going to be speaking to the same room at the NRA as former President Donald Trump, who is still running for president. Tim Scott getting in the race now as well. Will you be running too? And how complicated does that get as some of these investigations continue and as authorities continue to seek your testimony in some of those probes?
Well, Dan, for me and my family, it's all our sense of calling. And I must tell you, as we travel around the country, we continue to be very moved by the amount of encouragement that we're receiving to enter the race for the Republican nomination for president. But I don't have anything to announce right now, but what I can tell you is I think this country's in a lot of trouble. And my years as a leader in Congress, as governor here in Indiana, and as vice president of the United States, at least have our family thinking and praying very deeply about what role we might play in the days ahead to turn this country around. I know America can make a great comeback, but we've got to have renewed leadership at the national level, and so we're sorting out what our role might be in that.
Are you working on any specific timeline for that decision right now?
Well, I think for all intents and purposes, anyone that would be getting into the race for the Republican nomination would have to do so by this summer, and so we're on a timeline that's very respectful of that. But I will tell you very honestly, we aren't thinking about others that are in the race or others that are thinking about being in the race. We're just trying to look at our experience, our sense of calling in this moment, and discern what it is that we might do in the life of the nation in the days ahead. But I promise to keep you posted.
All right, former Vice President Pence, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you. Meantime, at the State House, Indiana lawmakers passed a special resolution praising the NRA's work on Second Amendment issues. The NRA's president was there as the state Senate passed that resolution just a day after the mass shooting in Louisville.
Faith doesn't matter your color, doesn't matter your gender, because they all strive under one common bond: to protect the Second Amendment.
In a statement, Senate Minority Leader Greg Taylor said our neighbors are still in mourning, and we're honoring an organization that's played a central role in preventing the adoption of common sense gun safety laws across the nation. This week, our Kristen Eskow also spoke with State Senator Fatty Kadora.
I'm extremely disappointed. This invitation falls on, at the time when we are suffering and struggling as a nation by losing so many lives to gun violence. And it's extremely important for us to be focused on passing common sense gun legislation to protect our kids so that they don't have to fear and live through trauma at their schools or in our communities. I think we should have focused our energy on solutions rather than amplifying the voices of those who promote more guns on our streets.
Why does your caucus find the timing of today's resolution so problematic?
It's tone deaf, it's extremely insensitive. The families across our nation are still grieving over the loss of family members who woke up and never returned to their homes. It is extremely important for us. It's not just the timing. We are sick and tired of just sending thoughts and prayers while not acting on legislation. This General Assembly has purposefully not acted on legislation to protect our communities. Matter of fact, we reversed action by repealing the permitting process. We don't have comprehensive background checks. Our schools are vulnerable, and instead of providing solutions, the General Assembly wants to train teachers to hold guns in our classrooms. They went against the will of our law enforcement officers who fiercely opposed the permitless carry. So who they invited today represents the opposition of what Hoosiers want, or the opposite view of what Hoosier families are demanding, which is common sense gun legislation to protect our kids across the state of Indiana.